Accordingly, I advise His Excellency the Governor General of my intention to announce the general election as Wednesday, September 3.
Yes, people, welcome back to another video. So, Andrew Holness called the election yesterday in halfway through, and I have to say, what a crowd. What a crowd. But it's not crowds that win election. People have to go out and vote for Andrew Holness. This election is very crucial for Jamaica. Jamaica is at a crossroad currently, people. Jamaica is at a crossroad. We can't play around with this election. We have to give Andrew Holness a third term in office. If, God forbid, Andrew Holness loses the next election and the PNP come into power, Jamaica is going to be different. It's going to look very different. Because from my understanding, the PNP, the internals affairs of the PNP have shifted from what it used to be when you had Peter Phillips and Portia Simpson-Miller running the PNP. I would be very happy if it was Peter Phillips running up against Andrew, and if Andrew lost, I would have said, yeah, it's just the PNP, they're not going to do nothing. This PNP party, led by Mark Golden, is different. It is not a social democratic party. The party with principles of Micah Manley. This PNP party is different. Mark Golden and Peter Bunting are not democratic socialists. They are capitalists. They are bankers. And Andrew Holness touched on this yesterday in his speech, that when the PNP came into power back in the 90s, or when they were in power in the 90s, they raised up the interest rate on the poor, right? It was hard for regular Jamaicans to borrow money from the bank. You have to borrow money at a high interest rate. And the people that was lending money to the government at the time, or lending money to the banks, or if you're a wealthy person, right, you'll be benefiting from these high interest rates. So if the PNP gets into power again, my bet is they are going to try to start raising the interest rates for Jamaicans, right? Because Mark Golden and Peter Bunting are in for profit. They're not in the PNP because they love Jamaica. I would have felt safer if it was Peter Phillips or Portia or even PJ Patterson. I have some debates about PJ, but I'll feel safer if it was them. This PNP party is a capitalist party. They have the Rise PNP out there. This is a faction within the PNP party, not the true comrades. And they are trying to take over the PNP. And if they succeed, they're not going to help the poor. They're not going in there to help the poor Jamaicans. They are going in there to benefit themselves. I urge every Jamaican on September 3rd to vote JLP. Put your X beside the bell. Reason being, the JLP is a stable government. The JLP delivers for people. The JLP has great accomplishment. Andrew have recently put out a pamphlet or a book with over 200 plus achievements of this government that he has been leading since 2016. What government in Jamaican history can say they have achieved something? What government? There's no government in Jamaica history. It's Andrew-led government that can say, yes, we achieved something and we are looking to go on to more. Andrew Holness is a leader with a vision for Jamaica. Andrew Holness has the same vision that Edward Seaga had for Jamaica to become the Singapore of the Western Hemisphere. And Andrew Holness is fulfilling Seaga's dream. Jamaica is in a good position right now. Is in a position that it can grow and become a powerhouse of the Western Hemisphere. And, you know, Jamaica can be a powerful country if we play our cards right. If we play our cards right, if we let the PNP go into power right now, they are going to wipe out all of the gains that Jamaica have made. Remember, people, the PNP is responsible for Jamaica having a high debt to GDP ratio. PJ Patterson, Portia Simpson Miller was in power for over 18 years in Jamaica, and they never did anything for the people. Never. They just make themselves rich. Andrew coming to power right now, and Andrew is delivering for the people. Andrew created the PATH program, right? To help people that are not well off to bring themselves up. Andrew created, jobs. He created jobs. If you look at Jamaica unemployment rate, when he took office back in 2016, the unemployment rate was 18%. Now the unemployment rate in Jamaica is 3.5%. The lowest unemployment rate in Jamaican history. 3.5%, people. Let that sink in. 3.5%. Soon enough, if Andrew get a third term, Jamaica is going to have full employment, meaning that people that are not in the workforce have to be brought into the workforce. And if we cannot find enough people, we're going to need immigrants to come to Jamaica and work, because there's going to be more jobs than people. Election day, don't vote PNP. Don't vote for Rise PNP. Do not. And also I want to give a shout out to Jamaica 411. She did an in-depth video on why you should avoid the Rise PNP and the infightings within the PNP party. I'm going to link that video below so you guys can go and watch that video. But she goes into details on why you don't want to vote for Mark Golden and Peter Bunting and the Rise PNP. Me have them picture up right here. So if you no see the PNP coming on a community and I tell them yourself, vote for them people, yeah, don't vote for them. Better you not even vote at all. If you don't want to vote Labour right, just don't vote. You better you stay home, because them people, yeah, them a plot to take over the PNP party, and them people yeah, not have no good intention for Jamaica. Them people just want to line them pocket. You understand? So do not vote for Rise PNP on September 3rd, people. Vote JLP. Alright. These people are not true Jamaicans. And talking about not true Jamaicans, Mark Golden is not a true Jamaican. I recall in the paper, this is a while back, they said Mark Golden had a British passport. He never really had a Jamaican passport. Just recently, I think he got a Jamaican passport. But he had a British passport. Shows that he doesn't really true show allegiance to Jamaica. He doesn't think in my opinion, and from how I see Marky Joe behave, he doesn't think highly of Jamaican people. He doesn't. He think, people are a fool. They take Jamaican people for fool. And we cannot allow for somebody like this to get into power. He cannot. I don't know if how true this is, but even last night at the rally, they were playing, I think it was Desmond McKenzie played a soundbite of KD Knight. And KD Knight said, hey, don't vote for Mark Golden. KD Knight. The guy that says pack your bags and go, right?
Idiot. You have to face reality. You have to face reality. That Mark Golden must never become Prime Minister of Jamaica. These realities must be faced. These are realities. These are realities. Mark Golden must never become Prime Minister of Jamaica.
Pathologically mendacious. All of you, pack your bags and go.
KD Knight is skeptical about Mark Golden. I'm skeptical about Mark Golden because he's not a true Jamaican, in my opinion. He's not a true Jamaican. Andrew Holness is a true Jamaican. He's a Jamaican by blood, a pro-Jamaican. When you see Andrew Holness talk, Andrew Holness is very passionate for Jamaica. He has a vision for Jamaica. Andrew Holness wants to see Jamaica grow. Andrew Holness represent Jamaica to the fullest. Anytime Jamaica is doing some type of international, something big on the international stage, and Andrew Holness speak, I say, yeah, man, that is my Prime Minister. That is my leader, the leader of my country. When Portia Simpson Miller was in power, and when she go on the world stage and speak, I always say, boy, me no know. You understand? Me no know. Because in my opinion, Portia can speak. You understand? But Andrew Holness, whenever he speaks with confidence. He speaks for the people of Jamaica, and he speaks with a vision. He speaks to the people. So my thing is, you have to go out and put your X beside the belt, Jamaica. We are at a crossroad with our economy. We cannot allow the PNP to come into power and put Jamaica into debt. Remember, when the PNP was in power, the PNP taxed the poor over and over. You remember the GCT? Remember, anytime there's a budget that's being read in Parliament, people sit down and listen for hear one new tax come out. Under Andrew Holness, from 2016 to now, he has not introduced new taxes. He has not introduced new taxes on the people. He actually reduced taxes. So the question that I have to ask, right, is with all of that money that the PNP was collecting at the time, where it go? If Andrew Holness was able to take it over and then he was able to say, okay, no, I'm going to reduce your taxes, where did that money go? Of course, in the pockets of the PNP. The PNP elite. That's where the money went. Andrew Holness is able to come in and manage the economy. He cut Jamaica debt to GDP ratio down to 60%. I think it's 60% or 68 or 60%. Yeah, 68% actually. It is 68%. And by 2030, Jamaica debt to GDP ratio is going to be below 50%. What does that mean for the average person? It means that the government is able to spend money on social programs. The government not have to take talk from the IMF. When last you hear the Jamaican government talking to the IMF for money? When last? When last you hear the Jamaican government say them are going to find money? When last? With Andrew. Andrew is able to say, okay, this is in the budget. This is how we're going to manage this budget. This is what we can spend on. He managed the economy. We don't have to go to the IMF anymore. We don't want to go to the IMF. Jamaica, in fact, finna have nothing to do with the IMF once we pay them off. We need to stay away from the IMF. I don't want us to be short-sighted as people and say, put Marky Joe in because he promise us this and promise us that. He may promise you something, you know. And he can give a little handout. And in fact, you know, capitalists, they don't like to give handouts to people, first of all. So, you know, it's not the Mike and Manley days of democratic socialism, right? So he probably won't give a handout, he might make you suffer. Him and Peter Bunting, they won't make you suffer. So, what am I going to do? I'm going to make promises to you. And I'm going to go in there and stump on in two hands and do nothing for you. So, I want the Jamaican people to be very visual and understand that Jamaica is in a position that if we play our cards right, we can become an economic superpower within the Caribbean. That's why you see, you know, the IMF, them a come at Jamaica and I say, boy, you not do good. Jamaica, if you look at the IMF, if you understand how the IMF work, anytime the IMF come into a country, then come and mash up the country. Right? Anytime the IMF come and give a loan, you can't get out of the loan. Look at Argentina and look at all the countries them in Africa. When they get the IMF loan, them done. Jamaica is the only country that says, boy, me a pay off the IMF. Jamaica is the only country. And Andrew Holness did this while reducing taxes on people. He did this. And at the same time, growing the Jamaican economy. What government is able to do that, people? What government can do that? What government can do that? Andrew Holness deserves a third term. You have to vote for Andrew. You have to vote Andrew. I'm not saying that because I'm a Labourite or whatever. I am agnostic to the political parties in Jamaica. I'm agnostic. I just want to see my country strive. Crime in Jamaica is on the down low right now. If not, that's another big accomplishment of Andrew Holness. Crime is down. Andrew Holness invested in the security forces and crime has fallen. And you know what that means? The Jamaicans in the diaspora are going to start coming back home and they're going to start investing in the country and they will start create jobs for people in Jamaica. That is progress. You see, when time crime is high, it's a few in a Jamaica benefit. It's the elites. You see, remember now, when the PNP was in power, crime was running crazy, you know, and the PNP, they not really do nothing about the crime. It's Andrew Holness come and he invested in the police forces, security forces. He invested in the security forces and said, well, look, we'll start give the police them bike, better facilities, give them better wages, make them feel proud that they're working for the Jamaican people. Now you see the crime rate has fallen. He introduced the new legislation such as the Firearms Act, right? The Bail Act. He introduced new legislation. When the PNP was in power, they were working with the draconian laws. They didn't introduce policies that was going to benefit the people of Jamaica. They introduced policies that was going to benefit the few, which was them, the elites. You have to vote for Andrew Holness. It's just plain and simple. It's just plain and simple. It's plain and simple, people. This election, me hear them say it'll be very close. But, you know, I pray to God, say Andrew Holness will get a third term. The Jamaican people will be visual, be smart, and understanding that their government is working for them. They go and vote on September 3rd and give the PNP a ass whooping. Send them back again. Because the PNP have to go and rebuild themselves. I don't want to say the PNP, I want to say that the PNP need to get destroyed or whatever. You need to have a strong PNP party in Jamaica. And that's going to create a strong democracy in the long term. But the current leadership of the PNP cannot win. They cannot. We have to be very careful on how we deal with these people, because these people are not for the Jamaican people. They are just for themselves. Alright, people. Let me know your thoughts in the comment box below. And if you like what I say, give the video a thumbs up. Also, remember to go out and vote on September 3rd. And remember to vote for Labour. Vote for Andrew Holness. Vote for prosperity. Vote for a peaceful Jamaica on September 3rd. And also remember to subscribe to the channel, people. Peace out.